Guys, I got my guy Chris from Kane's Legacy. He puts out great content, film reviews on Twitter at Kane's Legacy, and then he also is working with Kane's Insight mailbags and things like that. Make sure you check my guy out. Let's talk about this offense. Who's the best running back on this offense? Who's our best running back?
Don Chaney is our best running back. Like, I say it without any doubt. Like, he's our best running back. Cam does some things well. Cam's tough. Cam can get some open space. Knighton's got speed. I don't think either of them has the overall package that Chaney does. Like, in my mind, you got to feed him. And, like, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make everybody happy. But, like, Knighton doesn't have the mentality, I think, yet to be a great running back at the college level. He's got, like, great traits, but it's Don. Like, Don is the full package, 100%. Like, he's the guy that's going to be, like, the standout for this offense for years to come.
Well, how would you classify Cameron Harris' play as of late? Because, listen, man, and we're going to get to talking about these wide receivers, but Mike Harley came out and said, we haven't been working hard. We will start working hard. We are working hard. We are working after practice. And then now we see what the wide receivers are doing. Cameron Harris came out and said, y'all disrespected me for 3 straight weeks. And he really isn't running like he feels disrespected. How would you how would you classify his performance as of late?
Well, it's tough because the line hasn't been good. The interior of that line, especially, which is where Cam, probably feels the most comfortable, has been bad, just flat bad. Like, all 3 dudes in the interior, like, whether you put Traore in there, whether it was Clark in there, they've all been bad. So with that, like, it's hard for Cam to really show out the way he is. Like, Don's a little bit more patient, got a little bit more explosiveness, I think, in the interior, so which makes him a better fit right now. But if that was clicking, I feel like Harris would have a lot more success because from the beginning of the year, he had these, like, crazy runs where he would get hit, like, 1 yard deep, and then he would still break a tackle and get, like, 8 or 9. But, you can only do so many of those before your body starts kind of giving out and you just go down with those hits. So I feel like we can't see the full potential of Cam, which, obviously means he probably isn't going to be the most effective.
Yeah, man. Does Cam seem injured to you? Is that a possibility?
Like, maybe he's banged up because he takes a beating when he runs. So, like, he's just banged up, and I think it's hard for him to show out when every game is getting more and more beat up and more beat up, and that's not going to get better.
All right, this Miami offense came alive when they needed to. When they're there, they're there. I do want to say this because I spent the first 3 weeks giving these wide receivers hell. I spent the first probably 4 or 5 weeks talking about these wide receivers, and these last couple games, they're making plays. And you even look at Pope with the game-winning touchdown today. I saw Mike Harley on one of those tunnel screens or those quick screens that I'm not a fan of, but he blocked the hell out of somebody. D. Wiggins with an amazing catch. Who gets the credit for what these wide receivers are now doing? They are one position that started the season off slow, and they've consistently got better to where they're one of the strong points of this offense.
Well, I think when Harley said what he said, honestly, it blew up because, it sounds like, oh my God, Mike Harley is saying that they weren't working, and like, I think that's more of, Harley doesn't feel like the type of guy to really slack off that badly. I think he was trying to send a message to the whole receiving core, like, hey, we all have to work harder. Like, no matter how hard you're working, it's not hard enough, like, because there's no, like, plateauing in terms of hard work. Like, when you hit to a certain point, you can't be like, okay, that's good enough. That's about as hard as I need to work. But, that's something where people kind of fall into it, where they think this is what a college football player should work like, and then that's it. I hit my hours for the week. But great players never hit their limit. They push it every opportunity. So whether that came from Harley, whether that came from Likens, whether that came from the players, the other guys, I don't know. But I think they all deserve credit for actually stepping up, and they're still making mistakes. They're not perfect. I do think that the room needs more general talent, and I think that's coming my way next year with Smith and Brinson especially. But they're definitely doing more than they were doing, which was like a disaster early on in the year, like you said. So I think Likens for sure. There's still things that I watch, and I'm like Wiggins especially. There's plays he makes or doesn't make where I'm like, how could you not? How could you not go get that ball at a high point? How could you drop that pass? It was an easy touchdown, but I think Pope is starting to mature, and I think Harley's becoming a leader. So that's what we needed to see all year.
I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat who's kicking it with us tonight.